Did you know that your good technique might actually be hurting you? In this video, we're going to talk about the bad side of good technique. We know that in climbing, choosing the right technique in the right situation can make a hard move a lot easier. There are a handful of what are considered good techniques. These are skills that coaches have you practice the most because they have the most universal applications. Except these techniques don't work all the time. In some cases, they can actually make a move harder to do. How do we know when a good technique is bad? Is it intuition, experience? I'll show you today that it's actually a science. I'm going to pick two of the most commonly prescribed good techniques and show you when they're good, when they're bad, and what to do instead. My name is Sion, and I'm a climbing coach and movement enthusiast. By far, the most commonly prescribed good technique in climbing is hip rotation. You've likely been lectured about the importance of twisting at some early point in your climbing journey. This is when we turn one hip in towards the wall to improve the integrity of our body position, and we use this for techniques such as flagging and drop knees. We're going to focus on the drop knee aspect of hip rotation. This is where the climber has both feet placed on footholds and twists one hip in towards the wall while also pivoting the foot so that the knee is turned inward, hence the name drop knee. Hip rotation with a drop knee is so heavily prescribed because it has two very distinct benefits. The first is natural reach extension. By turning a hip towards the wall, we naturally rotate the shoulder on the same side closer to the wall as well. This gives us a slight reach advantage. It becomes very useful when we have to reach for holds that are on or ahead of our midline. The second benefit of drop knees is that it reduces arm engagement. When we rotate a hip in, we are effectively turning into our other arm, wrapping around the side of our torso like a straitjacket. This removes the slack from our body and tightens the leverage around our arm. As a result, you're able to reduce the amount your arm muscles have to contract to hold the position. This works really well for directional handholds such as side pulls and underclings. The drop knee may seem like a universal technique, but despite its advantages, it also has two glaring shortcomings. In some scenarios, it actually limits your reach and obstructs momentum. The drop knee is great when the hold you're reaching for is on or ahead of your midline. For example, if I'm reaching with the right hand from a drop knee position, I can comfortably reach anything from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I can even add some dynamism to extend my reach by pushing off my back step. However, this technique becomes bad when the target hold is behind your midline or past the reach of your arm. In this situation, the drop knee actually hinders your reach. By rotating the right hip in and with it the right shoulder, it reorients the space from being on your right side to now being behind you. This effectively cuts off a bit of your reach. When the hold you're reaching for is behind you, the drop knee will obstruct momentum because your leg is positioned to push against the direction of travel. This drop knee position, also called a back step, will act as a shock absorber for any energy going towards it. This makes it more difficult because you have a force pushing back against you even as you're trying to move towards it. In these type of scenarios where you're reaching away from your midline, the solution is to simply turn your drop knee outward and switch to a square hips position. Your drop knee foot is now on inside edge with the toes pointing in the direction you're moving. You can now fully transfer the weight onto that foot and lunge for the next hold. The next technique we're going to look at is also one of the most commonly occurring mistakes I see as a coach. To fix it requires deliberate focus and perhaps even a change to your climbing style. If you're finding this video helpful so far, you can explore more in-depth content from my private library at movementforclimbers.com. It's a catalog of videos organized to help you better understand the principles behind climbing technique and how best to apply them on the wall. I've split the material into 5 distinct categories: footwork, body position, tension, dynamics, and flow. Find the component you want to work on and address it directly. There's a link and discount code for you in the description below. Now back to the video. You may have seen this next technique before on YouTube. In fact, it was taught by one of the best climbing coaches around. I call it leading with the feet, and it's when you establish a new position by first placing your feet ahead of your hands. This effectively allows you to utilize your lower body to transfer your weight and advance your position. By letting your foot initiate the next connection point and transferring your weight over it, you're letting your legs do the brunt of the work to advance a position. This minimizes any pulling you have to do with the arms. You'll see this technique commonly used for lateral movements like traverses and crosses. The success of leading with the feet is really determined by one thing: how well you can transfer your weight over the foothold you're leading with. If the quality of the foothold is good, such as something with a positive edge, then you can use it to shift into a new position. If the quality of the foothold is bad, such as something thin or slippery, then it can just be a straight decoy. When we reflexively climb in the style of leading with the feet, we often fall for these decoys. We'll choose to place our foot on a suboptimal foothold and struggle to transfer our weight over it, leaving us in a bit of a positional purgatory where we've left the previous position but can't exactly advance to the next one. An even worse outcome would be to blindly trust that foothold only to have it slip off when we shift our weight over it. In the absence of quality footholds, leading with the feet can be a bad idea. The solution for this type of scenario would be to shift your approach from pulling from ahead to pushing from behind. This is when we position our leading foot underneath or behind our position on a quality foothold and push off of it to advance our hands. The feet can now follow once the next handhold is secured. You can use the following checklist to determine whether you should lead with the foot or lead with the hand. First, visually confirm the foothold that you want to lead with. If it looks high quality, then use it. If you're unsure, you can test it with a tactile assessment by placing your foot on the foothold. If it doesn't feel high quality enough for you to transfer your weight onto, then you can shift to the push from behind approach. Swap your lead foot onto the foothold underneath or behind you and push off to advance the hand. Much like everything else in life, climbing is all about context. There is no technique that is always right. We must assess every scenario as well as our ability within the context of that scenario. I hope this video offered some insights and sparked some curiosity. If you want to geek out on technique even more, you can check out my library at movementforclimbers.com using the link below in the description. Until next time, move better, climb harder.